So you think like the Derek Chauvin thing kind of like justified like what Colin Kaepernick was saying, and then like I don't know from the experience that your grandparents had when they came back from World War II. Like, do you think like our country is like a lot better now in that sense, or do you like you understand what I'm asking? Like, do you think the country's like racist? Do you feel like that's still an issue? Because I don't know if they came back from war now, it wouldn't be the same difference between Drew Brees' grandparents and your grandparents. I don't think.
It was no that part is different because, like I said, during that time period, they still had because they
Right,
came
it was
back
the
from World
law.
War II in 45, right?
Yeah,
World War II ended in 1945.
45. Yep.
Yeah. So at that point, segregation is in full effect.
Yeah,
You
like
know, they
water
didn't sign
fountains.
they
Yeah.
didn't sign the Civil Rights Act until 65. And then
Right.
really it wasn't, you didn't start having integration into majority schools until like the early 70s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it in sports. Bear Bryant didn't start bringing in, African American players to Alabama until like 1973.
That seems late, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took Alabama getting their asses handed to them by USC for him to realize, wait a minute, we need some different caliber of players on this team if we want to do something.
He was like kind of a pioneer in that sense, right?
Yes, he was, because Alabama
Yeah.
was not for it. They were not for it. And it took them getting beat by a team that had a good bit of African American players on it for them to see, like, we're not as good as we think we are.
Right.
But as far as like getting back to your question, I think racism has always been here, but I think with our past presidents, both Democratic and Republican, they have done a lot, in my opinion, to suppress racism and not really give it a platform. And I think with this past presidency, Donald Trump allowed people to truly just express who they are and how they feel. And that's why I feel like you really started kind of seeing like this big surge with like, these very far conservative groups like, Proud Boys and, some of these other groups that have just really started kind of coming out to like, whoa, where did you guys come from? I haven't seen this type of demonstration in years, in years. And so, I even go back, I remember there was one interview when Obama was first running for president. He was running against Senator John McCain. And, I tell, more often than not, I'm what I call myself a moderate liberal. I'm not far left because
that's where most Americans are. Like, center, left, center, right.
Yeah. And so I was actually a huge, huge, huge fan of Senator John McCain. And I actually struggle. Like, I voted Democratic in the past, but like, man, this John McCain guy, I really like him, but I also like Obama. And I wound up voting for Obama at the end, but John McCain said something. It was the whole thing because Barack Obama has an Islamic name. They were all on he's a Muslim and all this other nonsense. And there was a lady, there was an older white lady at one of his rallies who was like, he's a Muslim and he's this. And he was like, ma'am, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're not going to do that. I respect Senator Obama. He is a man of values. He is a man of Christian faith. He is a good man. The only thing that is different between he and I are our viewpoints and our ideas of how to run this country. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And that right there, I think for like years, I mean, and people even say what they want about George Bush, we didn't have any of this craziness that has really been happening over the past 4 years, So I think we were doing good. I think we took a couple.
You think it's when you think a couple steps back?
I think we took some steps back on this one, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree if you look at the protests and everything that was going on a couple of months ago, and it's like I think there, like some people say, it's like the media blows it out of proportion a little bit. Like, I think there is some truth to that. Do you think there's any truth to that? Like the media and like politicians like basically inflaming it and like supporting 100%. It. Yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you, I actually watch both Fox News and CNN because I laugh at how polar opposite they truly are. I would really, it's really difficult to find a news outlet that just completely reports on what's happening. And
ABC's pretty
let
good. ABC's pretty good. Like they're just straight shooters.
Yeah, between CNN and Fox, I mean, they really know how to kind of
Headline right, piss people off, get emotions
headline,
flowing.
get the emotions flowing on both sides,
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I gotta be. I even like I said, I gotta watch both to find balance because I
Yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
careful because I could get super pissed off at some of the things that Fox says,
yeah.
and then I could get super, overly emotional at some of the
Right.
things CNN says, and I'm like, wait a
You gotta
minute,
watch that.
I
Yeah.
I gotta watch that, man. Like
Yeah.
I gotta find
Everyone
some.
does. All voters, like
Yeah,
emotions are like I think, too prominent in decision making when people like vote. Like it's all about emotions, and that it shouldn't be like
yeah.
that, but I guess that's just the nature of politics.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean, and that's part of it, man. I mean, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of Americans, they don't do their due diligence. They don't do their own research,
right. It's
or
hard. It's
or
hard
they
to be researching it all. You got
it
stuff to
is. And if they
do.
are researching, they're actually not going to credible sources.
Yeah,
So
right.
that's the other side of it too. So, you have people saying things and making decisions based on a lot of times either no information or inaccurate information.
Right.